Finally back out in the bush again. This is our dry season and that's water flowing down the road. Mind you, last week when I came to do Poverty Point, I also came here and it was a lot deeper. So that is where the creek flows, and that is the overflow. I've shown you that before. And we also have more rain due. This morning when I was getting ready, or thought about getting ready, let's be accurate, I heard a couple of rumbles. So while I'm using the camera, I thought I may get you up to date on a little bit of maintenance I've done. I've had some squeaking and a lot of noise going on, and as you know, I tend to go through a lot of wet garbage. So let's see if I can get in there. So you've got the shaft in there. Oh, hello, let's get the focus. So you've got the shaft inside, you've got the shaft just down in that gap there. I've mentioned before I do have an artist brush. The particular brush I use is a very small, flat hair brush, as in an artist brush but using hair, because that tends to, I believe it's horsehair or something, fairly firm, so it can actually stand up to the chemicals. If you use some of the synthetic brushes, the first touch of the chemicals, as in your lube, and they'll just melt. So I've cleaned those out with the brush. And another thing I had is, he said moving back, this had a little bit of movement in it. It is possible it's had that small amount of movement in it since brand new, because I never checked it until I had thousands of kilometres on the bike and I started to get squeaking noises from this area. So I went looking, and what I've done is I've tightened the locking ring for the front gear. Obviously, if you're going to do it properly, you take this off and then you use the correct tool. I'm a bit of a butcher in some ways, so I took the shortcut and I just used a large screwdriver tucked in there, and I gave it a couple of firm taps. And you must remember that most of this is very light alloy, so if you're going to attempt anything like that, he said, as he hears sound in the background, could be thunder, could be the army. So what I did is I went for the biggest screwdriver I could, so that it had the thickest blade. If you use a small screwdriver with a thin blade, as in very thin, like a knife, if you get the impression, there's a good or a greater chance that when you're pounding it in here, it will be thin enough to act like a knife, and it will split this and possibly destroy it. So you need, if you're going to do this shortcut, then you should use the largest screwdriver and have it as flat and stable as possible on the point you're going to do, and start with light taps and build up. It took me about 4 taps before I saw or felt any movement in this, remembering this has got, what, 8,700 kilometres, so that's been stuck there for that long, so it already had the friction resistance anyway. So like I said, if you're going to do that, take care, you don't want to destroy it. Anyway, this cloud's building up. I'll now turn the chest camera on and go for a ride through here. Right, chest camera's on, running. I've just watched the first part to see if it was tolerable. It'll work. So bike's turned itself off, turn that back on. And the GPS is now finding all of the sensors. And while it does that, let's go. We're in eco. Now I have ridden this in the wet before, and I find this side is the better side. We went to about, what, 6 inches worth of water there, not too much. I already rode through a couple of small puddles to get here. the bike was silent all the way on the bitumen, and as soon as I got a first splash, a little bit of water and stuff up, I started getting a little bit of noise. But I'm still nowhere near what I had before I did the adjustments. Rightio, we're clear now. I've just popped up to tour so we can get a bit of speed without tiring the old man. Oh. Plus with the amount of thunder and garbage going on just off the coast, I don't think I'll be out too much today. So that means I do have plenty of power I can throw the bike. I must admit I do love the smartphone that I can hit the local radar and it'll get down to the last 6 minutes of data and imagery, so that's good. Especially when you live on a boat in a marina and you have to use the amenities on shore during wet weather. Nothing like having to check the radar before you go to the loo or shower. Okay, oh hello, this is a bit more washed out. Rightio, let's play. Whoa, this is going to look slimy and horrid. Right, let's go up to active. Oh crap. Oh crap. Rightio, through here. This is all mud. And I've had one little bit of wheel spin, so I'm happy with that. And I've now got mud sliding down the back of my legs. It's about now I remind myself I do this for pleasure. Alright, so we've got most of the chunky stuff off. Let's see. Let's get more off. Right, back to tour. My front wheel is starting to look like a potter's wheel. This is playing around the edges. I know we've got more mud up here, so there's no point getting off and clean. Although this does give me an incentive to do the loop rather than go back through that, so who knows, maybe I'll end up doing an 80k loop. Okay. I can't see bottom. He said, I can just see a hint. Oh, there's a tadpole and it's swimming rather deeply there. Okay, let's go the other side. We've done this before where I ended up with a lot of mud and crap over the bike. Rightio, up to active. Oh, dog prints. Big dog prints. Although last time we came through there it looked like someone had pig dogs in the area, chasing the pigs that are in the area. Okay. tour. Right, up to active again. I'm just having a quick look around the bike. Yeah, mud's on there in different parts, but nothing inconvenient. That just slid a little bit with the mud, but they were only small patches easily got through. Problem with the wider patches of mud, especially if you don't have a good chunky tyre, they tend to, in the early part, fill up your tread pattern, and then you've basically your motor will just load up and you'll dig a hole. Alright, back to tour. Up to active. Even higher. We're up to sport. Haven't used through here. Now the shadows do make looking for the ruts that little bit harder. Let's go this side. Again, trying to keep my wheel 90 degrees to the surface it's on. Last thing I need is for it to go a different direction to me. So the thing with being on the higher power settings, pretty much you hover right at 27 kilometers per hour. You'll be in and out of your power range, because basically it's doing all mud. Oh, go back a few gears. That was the other thing with the higher power settings, you do tend to go up your gears. Be careful you don't get caught out of the gear too much. Oh, I'm getting more mud up my legs. So we began this ride with 90% battery and we're already down to 69, so we've blown 20% of the battery in 20 kilometres or 23. Right, we just dropped back to active, soon we're hovering at 29. Looks wet up here, but I don't know how muddy it's all rocks. So again, we're still around 26, 27. Slight headwind. Whoa! Oh, front wheel dropped off a little bit to the left. Yeah, that last hole we slid around, that would have been nasty deep. My feet are now covered in crap. I shouldn't really complain, I am having fun. Right, back to active. Oh, hello. Hello. Whoa, hello. No shit, Sherlock, I'm going to walk down this one. It's just too much to get caught on and go arse over. As you can see, that's all gone. Although by the look of it, I'd say people four-wheel driving have put some of that debris there just to give themselves some purchase. Still inactive. Just getting clay off the pedal. Oh, I'm still in the wrong gear. Gee, I wonder if I mentioned that. And around this hole a bit. Oh. Right, let's get into a better gear. Oh my goodness. tractor tour. So this is just coming up to the Noosa River. And nice clear water. I can see I just go on the shallow part there. Oh, that's well up. Well up, yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah, look at that, right up. Ooh. That far side's a lot more chewed out than it used to be too. So you still get a lot of four-wheel drivers like to play through here, which is a shame because they do end up destroying the bank. Although I shouldn't be too critical. I have done four-wheel driving myself. Mind you, while I'm on this, I did do the Birdsville track. Planned it for over a year, put in extra large fuel tank in the vehicle, did everything. Allowed days and days to do the Birdsville track, and the day we arrived at Birdsville, they'd just finished servicing the road. So I did it in 8.5 hours. It was better than most of the highways I'd driven to get there. Although one of my favourites was the Revolt track, because that'll bring you up to Cameron's Corner, which for those that are not aware, that's where 3 states have a common point. So that's Queensland, New South Wales and South Australia. Well, while I'm on four-wheel drive yarns, we did do Cape York, and we got the Gunshot Creek, which was, it's really steep in, steep out. When we got there, there was a car stuck in it, and you had a couple of goes at trying to get out, and then finally he winched himself out. And then when he jumped into the vehicle to put the handbrake on, he discovered it had been on the entire time, which is why he couldn't drive through the creek. I guess about now I should mention both he and his missus were off their faces with alcohol. You could smell it on their breath. But yeah, he was out four-wheel driving. nice sunshine popping out, a bit more blue sky. Let's see. Oh, it's all sand there, no drama. Anyway, I assume I've been recording for quite a while. I shall get back to you. Catch ya.